Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Purple Friends.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, I'm your co-host, Jo.
And I am Corey, the co-host of the podcast.
I am so preoccupied in my mind because I learned about vocal fray and how, like, that's like a thing.
Vocal fry?
Fry, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Where you're like talking like that.
Yeah, and I feel like I do that a lot. I feel like I'm trying really hard to not have it right now.
You're doing it. I heard you.
I know. It's because I have it, and apparently it's like undesirable. It's like not a good thing. It's an annoying thing.
It's not. I mean, to some people.
Well, the rhetoric online is
Okay.
It's a bad thing.
Okay.
And it's also linked to influencers, which I am not. But now I can't like unhear it. So I'm so sorry to everyone I've just pointed it out to.
Can I tell you something? In terms of vocal fry, when I was coming up, I was in a band that did rock music, and vocal fry was actually
like,
a very desirable thing.
I understand, but now it's linked to influencers, and so now it's been feminicized. I don't know. There's a word that basically means when something has become more feminine or associated to something feminine, it's less desirable, it's less enjoyable, it's less good.
Oh, I see. Interesting. Okay, well, now we're getting at the heart of this. This is there's a gender difference here.
Potentially. I mean, clearly these are two different arenas. But anyway, I've just become so aware of it.
So
and it's very distracting to me now. And I'm trying really hard to speak normal.
Yeah, I would love for you to speak normal in a way that, doesn't require you to try very hard.
Okay.
I just want you to be normal.
Be normal.
Pretend to be normal.
Okay.
No, I just want you to be your usual self.
Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, who cares what I want? Who cares what I want?
I'm very excited for today's episode.
Me too.
But first we gotta do little gratefuls.
Yeah. Oh, we're not even going to tease them. Yeah, let's give it the little gratefuls.
I mean, I have mine. Do you have yours?
Oh my God, I have one. We all have one.
We all have one.
Yeah,
I have one.
I didn't have one, but I thought of one.
I have one.
Cool.
So I'm gonna say mine.
Let's hear it.
I'm so grateful for the teachers at Rayito de Sol.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for Amari's teachers. They're wonderful people, wonderful teachers, and I am just so grateful for them.
Yes.
That's it.
I echo that completely. Should I do my grateful?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my little grateful. Lip balm.
Ooh, do you have any?
I got some.
Can I have some?
You're not going to like it.
Well, it's fine.
It's my flavor. Unflavored. But it is the good stuff,
I mean, you know what? It is the good stuff.
Yes, yeah.
It's Aquifer, if anyone is curious.
Yes.
The clean girlies out there.
Oh my gosh. Get closer to the mic. Do that right up on the mic, girl.
Clean girlies.
No, I mean the applying it.
Oh.
Ew, oh my God. That was the worst ASMR I've ever heard.
I am not an influencer. I've already established that this episode.
All right, well, now you know, everybody. We're not going to go into an ASMR side project.
Okay, I'm going to get right into it because I'm excited and there's a lot of stuff. So here we go.
Yeah. Oh, and really quick, I just want to say, way to go us for actually having small little gratefuls this week.
They were little.
Okay.
But big.
Huge, but so small.
So small. In time.
Mm-hmm. Duration.
Yeah.
Longness. And I'm making up for it right now.
Yeah. Okay. Hello. We are talking today about cultural identity development. Yay!
Yes.
This is a topic that's like so interesting to me, and I learned about it when I was in grad school and have continued to learn about it since. But essentially, cultural identity development is the process of exploring, understanding, and committing to one's social and cultural identities. So that includes your race, ethnicity, religion, language, values, traditions. But more so than that, like we're also reconciling them with the dominant culture and with the larger world, right? Mm-hmm. So this is a lifelong, nonlinear journey of like forming and creating a cohesive sense of self within a cultural context. Mm-hmm. There's a certain model that we will refer back to that I think is truly lovely in explaining and helping us understand the stages that we go through and revisit throughout our life and developing our sense of cultural identity. So anyway, this is kind of where an individual navigates like the emotional and cognitive aspects of belonging, right? So if we're talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which I will refer to later again, belonging is like a human need. You know, it is a need that we all have. So this kind of falls into that category, right? It's a little bit, it's after we've met our biological needs and our safety and security needs. And it's like, okay, now we talk about love and belonging. And so it is intensely focused during like our adolescence and like young adulthood. For me, I would say it happened like 20s, early 20s ish. But yeah, like I said, it's this thing that we continue to go into and we'll continue to revisit.
Can you go through it more than once?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, in different contexts or in the same context, different perspective.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I went through it growing up, but I think I went through it again about 5.5 years ago.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've witnessed each other's a little bit, you know, which is cool, you know, to see and grow with someone through different versions of their life, and grow just more appreciation. But yeah, we're going to be focusing on the Sue and Sue model.
The Sue and Sue model.
Sue is their last name, and I believe it's two relatives. I don't exactly remember the relation.
Yeah,
I want to
S-U-E.
say father and son.
Okay. Boy named Sue. Two boys named Sue.
Yeah, two researchers named Sue. I don't know anything other than that. And but it's like other developmental models, right? We listening, I don't know about we listening, but like when you're learning in Psych 101, you learn about other developmental models like Piaget and Erikson and frickin' Freud.
Yes.
Right. So this is just another developmental model that relates to cultural identity.
So we're going to go over the Sue and Sue model like in a little bit more detail, but first we're going to go over some common misconceptions. Here's a big one. And this is kind of perpetrated online in like memes, I feel like. You only have a cultural identity if you're a minority, and like the inverse of like white people or like the majority, in our case in America, like white people don't have culture.
Yeah.
Only minorities have culture.
And that's simply not true.
Right. So everyone has a cultural identity, like including the dominant majority culture identity. The development process is often just much more salient and stressful for anyone who's navigating it as a minority or just like any non-dominant identity, just facing systemic oppression just all throughout their life.
Yeah, that's really the challenge there. Yeah.
Yes. And so another one is, once you've figured out your cultural identity, okay, we just talked about this.
Yeah.
Once you figured it out, you're done. And we just said, we've been through it multiple times. It's dynamic, major life events, moving to a new area, starting a new job, shifts in social, political climate, all that stuff can trigger a return to earlier stages of exploration, some of these earlier stages of like the Sue and Sue model that we're going to talk about. And the process is cyclical. It's not strictly linear. So yeah, once you get to the end, you may be starting back over at the beginning if something huge happens in your life again.
Yeah, you can revisit these. I prefer to say the word phases versus stages.
Okay, speak on that.
Or steps. I'm going to go through the Sue and Sue model in just a sec. But yeah, I feel like phases is a little bit more descriptive of like it allows you to go in and out of phases, right? And so these are, different stages. And I think stages is like kind of orderly, like you go through one, then another one, then another one. And it does kind of like communicate that it is linear. So that's why phases to me, I feel like just kind of fits a little better.
Gotcha.
So we're going to get into it. We're going to get into the Sue and Sue model. So like I said earlier, they kind of categorize it into these 5 stages. The first one being conformity. The idea here is that there is a preference towards the dominant culture, the values of it. We hold kind of negative views towards one one's own culture, or other minority groups, right? Minimal awareness of self as a racial cultural person. So there isn't really this idea of like, oh, I have this history, I have this background, I have this culture. It's just kind of like, again, the priority is to conform. Stage 2 is dissonance and appreciating. So the key idea here is that there starts to be confusion and conflict. An event, they call it the encounter, challenges previous beliefs, leading to and questioning our sense of identity, right? And the dominant culture's value system. We're growing more interested in your own heritage. So the encounter is very interesting, right? It's like anytime you feel othered because of these cultural differences. And that kind of like opens the door to like, wait a minute, I'm not fitting in the way I thought I was.
Yes.
Or
someone from the dominant culture just outed me as not being part of it.
Yes. And these kind of come out. The example that keeps coming into mind is from Stranger Things, when the boys are all dressing up in the Ghostbusters costumes, and Lucas shows up as Venkman.
Yep.
And everyone, especially Mike,
Yes.
assumed that he would be, what's his name? Igor?
No.
Egon?
No, Ernie Hudson's character, who is not Spangler, not Egon, not Venkman. His name is Ernie Hudson's character.
Well, anyway, the black character, like everyone just assumed he would be the black character, even though the black character in Ghostbusters, or like for them, wasn't cool. Like,
Yeah, for them, they like, it wasn't about that. It was like, he's not even a scientist. He was the one who came late and like all this stuff. And like there was all these other things, and there's this assumption.
Right. So that very well could have been Lucas's encounter.
The encounter.
So then from there,
Man, when you said Stranger Things, I have no idea what there could have been so many. I thought you were going to say something about like, I don't know, Max like being not part of the group at the beginning of season 2.
That's another like cultural.
We've been watching Stranger Things
a lot.
It's sorry.
It's on the brain.
Yes.
Okay. That leads into stage 3, which is resistance and immersion, right? A strong preference for the immersion in one's own culture, rejection of the dominant culture and values, right? There's this kind of huge shift, intense feelings of anger towards the dominant culture really start to come out, and there is a focus on eliminating oppression within one's own group. To me, I kind of categorize this as like working through some feelings of potential guilt and shame of either not knowing, not recognizing, not having felt connected to your own culture, and kind of coming to that realization. And like I always say, the pendulum does its thing, you know, it swings from one direction to the other. So if you found yourself conforming a lot to the dominant culture, right? This is the pendulum swinging in the other direction, right?
You might find yourself overcorrecting.
Yeah.
Making like embarrassing mistakes or something that you cringe about later.
Right. Or not just that, but like, I think internally too, like I said, there's, at least for me, it kind of felt like overcompensating. Through guilt, because of shame.
Yeah.
So anyway, again, we're working through these feelings, and that leads to introspection, right? Which is stage 4. And the important idea here is that we're questioning the psychological cost of intense resistance and anger. I mean, because it is exhausting. I think anyone who has lived in the last 5 years knows that activism and educating yourself and working through things is hard and tiring. So there's this desire to refocus your energy on more personal identity while still respecting your own culture. Realizing that neither one group or the dominant group is all good or bad, right? We start to have more nuance, right? There's a little bit more comfort there where we give ourselves the space to explore these spaces. And I know for me, for example, like I am Honduran American, I'm Honduran, and I'm American. And there's nuance there. And I think it's just hard to make sense of for yourself, and let alone make sense of for other people. But yeah, from there, kind of leads into integrative awareness, which is more secure, like I mentioned, confident sense of self that incorporates one's cultural heritage while appreciates one's own, and also like makes space for other diverse groups, recognizing that racism and oppression is a societal issue and not a personal failing. So like I said, it's a little bit more intimate. It's a little bit more personal. You're starting to figure out the nuances within yourself. And we're going to talk about like intersectionality and how complex that can really be. But yeah, that's Sue and Sue's model, you know? So if you have found yourself like, ooh, that seems like maybe that I've been through that, or I've gone through that, you know?
I'm in that right now.
Yeah. I mean, we all are in some stage right now.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it might be a fun place for you to explore, you know?
Did you want to share anything about your experience in that, or should I?
Do you have something?
I do.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I've been pretty open about this on the show, I think, that like I was kind of like completely unaware and ignorant of like the greater goings on of the world until like I had like I guess an encounter moment. So 5.5 years ago, of course, we all remember George Floyd was killed in May of 2020. And so for me, like feeling what I felt and seeing what I saw was like so shocking. And like watching it play out in front of my eyes in a way that I was engaged with for the first time as an adult, was like earth shattering to me. Because I just bought the line that like, we're good. We're all just happy, good people. We're all
Racism
just
is
trying
over.
to fix this. All that stuff's in the past. Nazis are dead. The South lost. Like all that stuff, right? I bought it, and you know, I'm not to shame anyone else who bought it as well, because like that's what they're selling.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like that. We were kind of meant to buy it.
Yeah, like Americans have been propagandized for a long time. So like before that happened, I was definitely in the conformity stage. And then George Floyd was killed, and I felt myself outed as like being different from like all these other people who I considered my peers and who were like in favor of his extrajudicial execution and like all kinds of other crazy stuff. And it all obviously snowballed from there over the next until now. But basically after George Floyd was killed, like I went through this whole deconstruction of my identity, a really intense mental breakdown where I was just like, I just like could not figure myself back into the system. And like I had to completely like go through therapy and all this other kind of stuff to become like a kind of a functioning person again. And like I had to learn all this history and learn all this history about myself and like how my own intersectionality, my own like identity as like a Jewish American figures into like the Black experience in America, the Jewish experience in America, and just like turning on the fire hose and just learning everything until like my brain went kablooey.
Yeah.
And so after that, we like after I got my mental health back on track, that was when we decided like I'm going to go back to school and get my psychology degree, and then we're going to open up our practice and we're going to do all this stuff. And it literally went through like all 5 of these stages where like I had this like super strong resistance to the dominant culture, and I immersed myself in Black culture and like Jewish culture and all this other kind of stuff. And I think that actually right now I'm probably still on the tail end of the introspection phase. Like trying to like shift into the integrative awareness phase, because like 5.5 years later, you know, we're doing our podcast, and it's every episode is through an intersectional lens, and that's something that's extremely important to me and to you and to our child, and I'm really proud of how far I've come, and I still like being able to see how far I've come lets me see how far there is still to go.
Yep.
And that's why I say I'm at maybe the very beginning of transitioning to stage 5, because like there's still more work to do.
And that it's interesting, you know, I feel like at least that formation of it is in your adulthood, right? From 2020 to now, you've been an adult.
Yeah.
When I think about these stages, I think relate it back to like my childhood and like growing up and wanting to conform to the dominant culture and like feeling othered and trying to make sense of that, and I especially remember kind of falling in love with my own culture. So like shifting into, what is that, stage 3? I particularly remember it was like a trip to Honduras, and it like was just a different experience. I had gone to Honduras every year prior, and this one was just different. It hit different. I noticed different things. I felt different things. I was absolutely there in this model, mentally, emotionally. And like I said, it just made me fall in love. And from then on out, I have chosen, because it's a choice, to continue making space for my culture. And for me, that is not just like the music, the food, the history, but for me, it's a huge part of like family and like my extended family, my family of origin. Like, as you know, this year we've had a lot of family come in from Honduras, and like I've been MIA because I've just been making time to spend with them, because that's important to me. That it's important for me to have my daughter with me and have her meet my family, and learn from them and have them watch her and interact with her. And, so yeah, all those things to say that like, yeah, every day I'm still challenging internal biases. I'm still exploring more things about my history and my culture. I mean, and yeah, it's just interesting. I enjoy it very much. Which is complicated now, with ICE.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really complicated to feel so targeted. And I know I'm very privileged. I can be, I can pass as non-Hispanic, I think. And that has like brought up a whole slew of like complex feelings of like, there's some relief, but also guilt and shame in that. And even speaking Spanish outside in public to my daughter, who I'm trying to get her to speak Spanish, like it hits very, very different. But yeah, it's not like, again, it's not a failing of me. I don't feel like it's anything I've done. It's just noticing, right? So yeah, it's been quite a year.
Yeah. So that's the Sue and Sue model, those are a couple examples of like our lives through the lens of the Sue and Sue model, maybe to help you view your own life through it as well. Shall we bring it back to intersectionality?
Yeah, I think so. You want me to do it?
Yes, please.
So, for example, intersectionality, multiple jeopardy. We've talked about this before, that one single human can be part of multiple different groups.
Right. Yeah. The whole point of intersectionality, basically.
Yeah. So a Black, queer, disabled woman, right, does not just experience racism, homophobia, ableism. She experiences a very unique intersection of all four, right, which creates a more specific and more profound experience of marginalization. And I think that's important to note. It's not just like these simple buckets, right? It's like a mix of it. So you get something completely new and potentially like more, a more profound experience of marginalization, right?
Yeah.
So with that, I think it's important to just continue to look inward, be aware of the different facets. And you might have to go through like these models in these different areas of your life. But another way I think that this kind of shows up is through code switching, where individuals essentially have to like intersect non-dominant identities. And it can be a struggle, right, to find a single community where you feel fully accepted, leading to an exhausting cultural code switching. So I think of the line from Selena.
Yes. Oh my God. I was going to talk about Selena.
Yeah. Cause I mean,
Which should be called Abraham.
Right. I mean, that movie. But the original movie with J-Lo, there's a line in that movie where it goes like, you're not Mexican enough for the Mexicans, you're not American enough for the Americans, and you're doing double the work, you're double Mexican, double American, and it's just like
There's no winning.
There's no winning.
Yeah. Have you ever experienced anything like that?
I mean, absolutely. When I would go to Honduras, I'd get made fun of all the time for my Spanish, or just for my me, because I came from a different culture. I was American to them, you know. And I mean, yeah, growing up in America, you are not American to everyone here,
Right?
So yeah, absolutely, this happens. Not as like eloquently as Abraham says it in that movie, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, code switching, you know, that's something that I've grown up with that I think I absolutely do. I was reflecting on this as we were preparing for the podcast of like whether or not, because code switching can be really exhausting. And I think in our prep work, it kind of leaned into that of like, it's hard to do, it's undesirable, where I don't particularly feel that way. And I'll talk a little about why, because I think code switching is this idea that like you have to step into this version of yourself that you don't feel is aligned with who you are. And when I code switch with my family and start speaking Spanish or start like, I don't know, using colloquialisms that they're only gonna get, or, you know, like, I don't feel like I'm inauthentic. I feel very authentic. And I'm going to take it back to IFS, because we've been doing a lot of IFS work. And one of the principles of IFS is obviously getting to know your core self. And through your core self, you know, a lot of these, and we talked about the 8 C's, the 5 P's: calm, curious, connected, compassion, playful, curiosity, creative, you know. I feel those things. I feel those things when I'm speaking Spanish. I feel connected. I feel calm. I feel playful. And I feel those things when I'm speaking English, or like when I'm with my American friends, or when I'm doing therapy, you know? And so I think that there is a way that may be coupled in with like the 5th stage of Sue and Sue's model, where you can come to this place of acceptance, place of still authenticity, and just recognizing that it's like, yeah, in this arena versus in this arena. Because like when I'm a therapist, I feel very authentic. You know, I feel very connected. I feel a lot of these things that I think from, you know, from the core self attributes. And I don't feel fragmented when I have to speak English over Spanish, or when I have to speak Spanish over English. And again, I don't know if that's just my unique experience. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. I mean, I know other women, my friends, that I know like are very comfortable in that space. So yeah, just an observation. I think that code switching could definitely be exhausting and tiring.
Yeah, especially if it's like you have to, like, for your job, like you have to put on your customer service voice or whatever.
Or even, yeah, if you're not fluent in Spanish, or you don't feel fully connected to that part of you yet, like, because I do remember like in junior high, my parents would force me to speak Spanish and I'd be pissed. I'd be annoyed. So yeah, it's obviously changed for me over the years. And I don't know if that's in relation to just where I'm at in the Sue and Sue model.
Could be.
But yeah, any thoughts on code switching?
Oh, no, just what I was getting at earlier, just like the idea of being forced to use a customer service voice in order to like survive, basically. Like that aspect of code switching is for the birds.
Yeah.
It sucks. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Maybe it speaks to the bilingual experience.
I think because I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, maybe in the parts that feel good, you know, in those parts, the parts of those cultures that do feel, you know, what's the word? Integrated. Yeah, thank you.
We played charades with such a hard word.
Yeah, but I think those aspects of the culture feel more integrated, so I feel that's why it feels more authentic for me to code switch. And in that case, I guess maybe it's not code switching. Maybe it's a different word entirely.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know. No, it's probably still code switching. It's probably just consensual code switching.
Consensual. Okie dokie.
And then another example of intersectionality I want to hit before we move on is like this intergenerational kind of like different experience. Like for example, the child of an immigrant exploring their LGBTQ identity could that could be very different for help me out here. What am I trying to say?
You're totally on the right track there. I'm following you. I think you're saying everything right.
Basically, if you are trying to navigate, if you are the child and you're trying to navigate your LGBTQ identity, but your parent is trying to navigate like assimilating to the dominant culture or like all the other stresses of being like an immigrant to a new country, there's like a huge difference. Mm-hmm. Yeah, huge rift.
I mean, that is so true. I mean, and sexuality is just one of the things, right? I think about, for me, exploring my mental health, something that like is non-existent in the Latino community, was so hard to have a conversation with my parents early on.
Yeah.
Because it was like, not only are you educating, but it's like we're also operating on two different planes, which we've already talked about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Immigrants are operating on survival and security, right? Like physiological needs most of the time. A lot of the times their kids are operating on potentially security, but then also the love and belonging, right? Fitting into the schools here, learning to navigate the systems here.
The pressure of a system that really, really wants them to assimilate and drop their culture and just conform. And
that differs from family to family. You know, like for me, my parents wanted us to speak Spanish.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm saying that the school system and just like the general nature of our country is pressuring people to
No, conform. I know, but like within those households, it's different too.
Oh.
Because like I said, my family wanted me to speak Spanish, wanted us to speak Spanish, gave us Spanish-ish names, where like kids in my grade, kids I went to school with, who were also like first gen, their families would be like, we're giving you English names and you can't speak Spanish anymore, and we're gonna assimilate. So like, yeah, even if the external culture is like encouraging that, internally I think that's more so important. So if your family is you know, leaning on assimilating, making life easier here versus like adhering and not wanting to let go of your culture of origin, those are two completely different experiences as well.
Yep, absolutely. Something that's really helpful when you're trying to navigate some of these issues is externalizing the problem with something called narrative reauthoring. So like when our identity struggle is often really internalized. Like, for example, here, let's keep it simple. I am confused. If we externalize that issue, we can extrapolate it to like, I'm being asked to navigate the conflicting expectations of culture A versus culture B. You know, as a result, I'm confused, but I'm being asked to do something extraordinarily confusing.
It's not a you thing.
Yeah, it's not a you thing. Exactly. So this kind of separates it, like you and your intelligence from what's happening to you, because it's honestly, it's not related. It's just like, it's part of your story because this is the culture that you have.
And that finding your cultural story, I think, is really important. And you can definitely do that through like exploring your own culture through your own family. We do recommend like potentially doing a genogram, you know, or a family tree. Yeah, those are like really fun, honestly.
Yeah, genograms are fun. They're literally impossible for us to describe in an audio medium.
Yeah.
I'll put something on the Instagram for it. It's basically like a souped up family tree that can give you a bunch of extra information based on like the shape of the lines and the shape of the boxes with the names in them and all kinds of stuff.
We've tried to do this in our family, and
you need a really big piece of paper.
We need a really big piece of paper. But yeah, we can really then start to explore these different connections, these different generations, what's happened between each one, where our ancestors came from, the languages they spoke, what traditions are passed down, what's important to you, what's important to them. And it really just gives you a larger context of like your sense of belonging and lineage.
Yeah.
Which is really, really cool, honestly.
And if you take a look at a genogram and you're like, wow, that's way too complicated, a family tree is good too.
Yeah. And you can make your own genogram.
Yeah.
I highly encourage you to make your own genogram.
Yes.
I've made my own, and that's a fun project.
It really is. We'll put instructions up.
Yeah. Okay, I want to talk about the genogram actually real quick.
Yeah.
And access to like your history and your because I think that goes right into like some of the obstacles that people might face, because genograms
Yes.
are hard. And
Yes.
I am thinking back to like when I made my genogram.
And for some people, they can be downright literally impossible.
Impossible. And I think like we literally only got to like my grandparents,
Yeah.
maybe my dad's grandparents, but like from there we have no information. I don't know. I mean, I did a 23andMe just to get a little bit more info in that sense, and still not a whole lot of info, you know. So that can be a really big obstacle for a lot of people, just wanting access to their histories.
Yeah, like whether, you know, your family tree is obscured based on like you were adopted, or like
Immigration or racism,
Yes.
or sorry, slavery,
Yes.
or like things were erased
Yeah.
completely.
Exactly.
You can have a really hard time getting too far. And
Yes.
I think about that constantly, like when doctors will ask me like, oh, do you have any medical history of this? I'm like,
Yeah,
girl,
right.
I don't freaking know.
Yeah, there's no way of me answering that.
I mean, like, yeah, my grandma struggled in some way, but she didn't have a diagnosis I can give you.
Right.
Like, anyway, so that can be really frustrating. But for me, one of the things that I think has really passed down to me through like my lineage is and I don't even know how to like, but like my creativity or like my craftiness comes from my grandma, like my mom's mom. And she died when I was like really young. But like, I'm certain that her mom, who I don't know, taught her, and she taught my mom, and my mom taught me. And so like anytime I knit or crochet or needlepoint or sew, I feel very connected to my culture,
Yeah.
my family, my heritage. So it can be a really great place to start for anyone who is wanting to explore that. Should we talk about maybe other
Obstacles?
that we might be facing? Because I did mention just like lack of history.
Yep.
But yeah, I think there are definitely other obstacles that we might face, including like safety concerns, for example.
Yes. Yeah. So like if you're in the resistance and immersion stage in the Su method, and just like as a refresher, that's like when you're rejecting the dominant cultural values and norms, like you have a lot of really intense feelings like anger and distrust towards the dominant group. Those are some dangerous emotions to just be carrying around. Those are like loaded guns.
Yeah. I mean, and just make you a, dare I say, target? Like,
Yes.
and I don't want to say,
It definitely leads to backlash.
yeah, right. Like, not to say that these things are, well, they are targeted, especially now.
Yeah.
But yeah, just being mindful, you know, recognizing your safety.
Yeah.
Not that these things shouldn't be done. I think they absolutely should still be done. There should still be resistance, and you can still resist without having to be in the third stage of the Su model.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not as loaded with like those feelings of guilt and just confronting these feelings for the first time. Yeah, we might be making decisions from that place, which
Yeah, that's not good for your
Yeah.
future usually.
yeah. Another obstacle that usually comes up is just time and economic constraints, right? Like emotional cognitive work of independent development or identity development can be a luxury for many people,
Yeah.
especially if you're focusing on survival, poverty, and generational trauma. I've brought up the hierarchy of needs multiple times today because this is something that like it can be hard to access these feelings, emotions, insights if you are preoccupied on what is your next meal.
Yep.
Can I pay my rent? You know, am I physically safe? So yeah, practice lots of grace. You know, I think anytime we're able to do some inward reflection, I think is always a good investment.
So what do we do, dude?
What do we do, dude?
What do we do? What do we do? Okay, let's talk about what we do. You've heard of microaggressions, but have you heard of microvalidations?
No, tell me about it.
So basically, a microvalidation, think of it as like a substitute for a family tree if you're not able to access one. Kind of like what you just said, an artifact or a tradition or something that is passed down. You were just talking about knitting, basically being able to feel generations of women knitting at your fingertips while you knit. And so practices like that are handed down, cultural artifacts like a blanket. Amari has blankets from her grandmothers, from her great
grandmother,
grandmothers,
from on your side,
yeah.
like
Stuff like that. Like that counts.
Yeah.
I cannot express how much that counts.
if it's just a recipe or a tradition
recipe is a
that
great one.
Maybe your third generation Italian family every Christmas still bakes Italian cookies,
Yeah.
Like that counts.
That counts. That hecka counts.
Yeah. So like that movie, that song, those things count and can go a really long way at just, again, like micro validating
Yeah.
our experience as being our experience.
Yeah. Another small step you can take is like if you are kind of trying to experiment with like a new shape or expression for your identity, is take it for a test drive with a very close buddy, non-judgmental bud, and just like try it out. Take it for a spin before you bust it out in front of the whole world.
Yeah.
See how it feels.
That's okay to do.
Yep.
It's very common and expected in adolescence. We see that all the time. Kids listening to different music, trying different makeup, hairstyles,
Yeah.
clothes,
Yeah.
friends, hobbies, interests.
Yeah.
And that's just like part of it. But don't count yourself out. If you feel like you want to explore something different, you are allowed.
Yeah.
And you can,
Your
no
brain
matter
is
how old
craving
you are.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lastly, another,
Small step.
yes, thank you. Another small step to like overcome some of these obstacles is seeking out like intersectional community. I think about my friends. All of my friends are first generation Latinas.
Yeah.
And like they're all like Latino-Americanas. Like they're in the same boat as I am, and I feel very belonged, very belonged there. So that is like an intersectional group, right? Like first gen Latinos, women,
Yeah. You're right.
I would say
You're
so.
right. You're right. On three fronts, you are correct.
and we met in a very white space, whether that be through school or through our first employment. But yeah, sometimes finding like a very specific group, like queer and black groups, or,
Autistic and living on your own.
yeah, exactly. Like you can search that, and the internet is vast and they're out there.
Yeah. And be open to online community.
Yeah. Or yeah, absolutely. Like I think about like Spanish knitters or Spanish potters. They're hard to find, but they're worth finding.
Yeah.
And that maybe leads into a different conversation about like representation, but still, it could be an avenue to find an intersectional group that you feel you belong to. And lastly,
Yes, of course. We've talked about this before, but in a system that is designed to hurt you and to make your life rough and ruined, radical self-acceptance and living as yourself are hugely powerful forms of resistance.
yep, I say that so often, especially to my clients who have maybe felt burnt out this year with everything.
The everything.
I'm like, go do your workout class, like exist in these spaces, exist at work and be successful, live at your apartment, show up at these things, and yeah, radically accept who you are. That is, I know, a much easier thing to say than do, but
Yeah.
it is a form of resistance. So it does kill two birds with one stone.
True.
People, like I said, the dominant culture doesn't want you around. So you being around and simply existing is enough.
And hey, gang, if you're feeling discouraged about like, boy, this seems tough, I just want to put a word out there that like I have a like full anecdotal experience here that it took me 6 years to get through the Sue and Sue model as an adult. So it may seem like it's not going anywhere, but it's a long journey and it's a long process, and it is going somewhere, and it is worth it.
It is so worth it. I mean, there's so much richness in culture, and we all have it. We're not tapping into it, So like tap into it, see what you can get from it. Like I said, there's so much enrichment that comes from learning about our histories and learning about other people that also have that shared history. So yeah, that's all we had for today.
Yeah. We love you so much.
Yeah, we care about you so much. We love you.
What are we doing today?
Yeah, I mean, should we do a little...
Let's just talk about what we're doing.
A little update? Yeah, I mean...
This week and next week.
Yeah, this week we're going to be at College of DuPage at a Women in Business Expo. So come check us out. If actually don't, it'll be too late.
But maybe we'll see some of you there.
Yeah, maybe we'll see some of you there. Next week we're doing a little DEI meeting of like...
Yeah, we're presenting our business to the DEI committee for our town.
Yeah, which is exciting. We've been very, very invested in our community recently, and part of that has been we recently just launched a pro bono project, which is a fund where we're trying to crowdfund free therapy for some people.
Yep.
Our goal is $1,600. $1,600 to sponsor 2 individuals to get 8 sessions each. So if you feel it in your heart to donate, check it out on our website.
VibeTherapyServices.com and click on the Pro Bono Fund.
Yeah, and if you feel like you might benefit from free therapy or therapy, request a free consultation or apply for a pro bono spot.
Yeah, you can do that in the same spot on the Pro Bono Fund on the website. And if you want to just get a regular old 15-minute free consultation, you can do that on the website too.
Yeah, we do care about y'all.
Very
we do
much.
love y'all, and we're happy you show up to our website, to our podcast.
Oh, and speaking of our website, showing up to our website, we also have a free downloadable activity book on there now.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, but it is all house made. We made and put a lot of thought and effort into every single one of those pages.
Yep.
So check it out. It is intended for kids, but I highly encourage anyone to explore their mental health in a fun way.
Absolutely free, downloadable, printer-friendly version. We've taken so much of your time. We love you so much.
All right, get out of here.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Purple Friends is an independent podcast produced by Vibe Therapy Services and is not a substitute for a session with a real therapist.
Our show art was created by me, Jocelyn Lang.
And our theme music is Nature Nurture by me, The Implied Bear.
Vibe Therapy is an Illinois-based private practice servicing clients in person at our Wheaton office and virtually throughout the state of Illinois.
We accept Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO, Aetna, and Cigna insurance. We also offer cash pay rates, financial assistance, and free 15-minute initial consultations where you can get a feel for our practice.
Think of it as a vibe check. Therapy doesn't have to feel clinical. Visit VibeTherapyServices.com today to see if we vibe.